Sellers in Durham region did not get the spring market they were expecting, and with a high likelihood that we have passed the peak of what the spring market has to offer, this leaves us with the question, is this the start of another market correction? It's a good possibility that Durham region's market is about to take another hit, and there's not a lot we can do to stop it. In this video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about the state of Durham region's market, why we may see more price corrections moving forward, and what this means for you as a buyer or seller in the near future. My name is Jessie McClellan, and I'm a realtor here in Oshawa, Ontario with the Lisa Abbott team. If you'd like to stay up to date on everything happening in our real estate market, especially here in Durham region, then subscribe to the channel and hit that like button to help me reach more people like you. Usually in these market videos, I'll cover the most recent stats from the market here in Durham region, the trends we're seeing, and the experiences that my clients are having. And we're still going to do all of that. But stick around till the end because I'm going to show you some stats from outside of Durham region that could be a very good indicator of what's to come our way. And it doesn't look pretty. These are the stats for Durham region's market during the month of April. We had 2,135 new listings, a 10.2% increase from March. 2,445 active listings, a 21.2% increase month over month, and 769 sales, a 14.6% increase. Our months of inventory increased from 3 to 3.2 months. Our sales to new listing ratio changed to 36%. The average days on market increased to 19 days. Our sales price to list price ratio remained the same, and our average price basically stayed the same and is at $913,000 for all property types in Durham region. These are far from our typical numbers we've seen in recent spring markets. To put this in some context, here are the stats from April of 2024. We had more sales, a lot less new listings, and about 900 less active listings. Our months of inventory was much closer to what we've come to expect in a spring market with just 1.6 months of inventory, an indicator of a seller's market compared to the 3.2 we have now, which is an indicator that we are in a much more balanced market. The sales to new listing ratio was around 51%, which indicated that at that time we were heading towards more balanced conditions in the months ahead, compared to our sales to new listing ratio in April of this year at just 36%, a strong indicator that we're heading towards a more balanced and buyers leaning market in the future if the trends remain the same. And our days on market was lower as homes were selling faster, and our sale price to list price ratio was 104% as more homes were successfully selling above their asking price. From January to April of 2024, we saw the average price increase nearly $50,000 from $894,000 to $943,000. This year, we started with an average price of $896,000, and so far, prices have only slightly increased to $913,000. Even in the recent years, we've seen prices correct. We still saw a fairly large increase to the average price during our spring market, and most of the price corrections came from May or June onward. In 2024, our active listings, which is just the number of homes still for sale on the market at the end of the month, it peaked at 2,395 in the month of September, and we had a months of inventory of 3.6. Compare that to April, the busiest season of the year, and we've already surpassed 2024's peak for active listings and are very close to our months of inventory high from last year as well. So where does that leave us moving forward? Well, if there's no outside factor that greatly improves consumer confidence in the market, such as signs of the economy improving, positive changes with talks surrounding tariffs and trade wars, it looks like Durham region could hit inventory levels that we haven't seen in decades. Another indicator I like to look at when gauging where the market's at is the number of homes selling above asking price. In recent years, where we've seen that number peak and we see the most amount of homes selling above asking is usually right at the peak of our spring market. And once that number drops off, that's a good sign that the market is cooling down from there. This year, we reached a high of 44% of homes sold above their asking price in March. In April, that number was just 40%, and we usually don't see that number rebound and increase again until the following spring. So it's very possible that we've already passed our spring market and that the market will continue to slow down from here, and inventory is likely going to continue to pile up. However, if there are significant rate reductions, it could help to motivate buyers who are sidelined right now and encourage them to take the plunge. And if that were the case, there is a possibility that we do end up seeing a bump in activity later on in the year. I mentioned at the start of the video that I wanted to show you some stats from outside of Durham region. Here's what the market looks like outside of Durham region for months of inventory. Keep in mind, this is all from the Toronto board, and they calculate their months of inventory using a 12-month average, so the numbers are a little bit different. Peel, which includes Brampton, Mississauga, and Caledon, has 4.3 months of inventory. York Region, which includes areas like Vaughan, Richmond Hill, Markham, and Newmarket, has 4.3 months of inventory. Durham Region has 2.7 months of inventory when calculated using the 12-month average. Simcoe County has 5.2 months. The City of Toronto has 4.4. Every area around us is seeing listings pile up much faster. Now, it's not uncommon for Durham Region to have lower inventory levels than these areas simply because of our proximity to Toronto, and our home prices are more affordable when compared to these other areas. So there's usually always demand coming to Durham Region from those areas. But we're now seeing the gap in inventory get larger, and in my opinion, if there's no outside influence, this is probably indicative of where Durham Region is heading. Buyers and sellers now and in the near future are going to have to prepare to shift their expectations and their strategies along with this market as it shifts too. When we start getting into 4 and 5 months of inventory, we're far more likely to start seeing significant downward pressure on home prices. Buyers right now are not feeling any sense of urgency, and nor should they be. They're watching and following the market too. They are seeing the number of homes that are terminating and relisting, doing price reductions, and they're watching the sale prices not jump up out of reach like previous spring markets. So they're not feeling any pressure to jump at something unless it's the right home for the right price, which is why you're seeing higher inventory. With the homes that show great and are priced attractively and appropriately are still seeing multiple offers, but many are selling with conditions like financing and home inspections. And this is significant in my opinion, considering the time of year and the improvements in affordability when compared to last year. If you took the average price, the minimum down payment required, and looked at the rates that were offered in April of 2024 versus the rates that are offered in April of this year, the average price is about $30,000 lower. The down payment required is almost the same, but a few $1,000s lower, but the monthly mortgage cost is down from $5,320 to just $4,630, a nearly $800 difference in monthly cost is significant. And during our busiest time of the year, even with these improved affordability levels, buyers are not feeling the pressure to jump at homes if they feel like they're overpriced. And this isn't even factoring in the fact that first-time home buyers now have access to 30-year mortgages, which improves the monthly affordability even more. On a 30-year amortization, the monthly mortgage cost would be even lower at $4,193, a difference of a little over $1,100 a month. So this brings us to how buyers and sellers should approach the current market. As a buyer, this really depends on your personal situation. There are buyers entering the market right now that know that there's a fair chance that prices continue to correct, but when they factor in how much they're paying for rent and the alternative living situations they have, and the fact that they know that they can afford to carry that mortgage comfortably and plan to live there for at least 5 years, many are still deciding that buying a home is their best choice right now, if the right property comes up. So I would say take your current situation into consideration. Are you renting, and how much does that cost? What's your timeline? If you have to find a new place to live in the next 90 days, then you're left working with the market you're currently in anyway, whether that's buying or renting. If you're someone who's looking to buy a home, but your situation allows you to stretch that search out a little bit, then you really don't have any sense of urgency and can follow the market and wait for the right opportunity to come up. Don't rush into anything. If you're considering offering on a property where you can find very similar homes that have recently sold, unless there are major upgrades or features that warrant it, I would be offering the same price or less. This is not the market that's commanding sold prices higher than recent sales, assuming those recent sales are very similar homes. Sellers, I'm going to have an entirely separate video coming out for you shortly, but if you're not pricing your home appropriately, you won't sell. This is not the market to try and sell your home in. When the market was hot and homes were selling with 20 offers and for 200 grand over list price, I always told my buyer clients, if you can't put in a realistic offer, then you probably shouldn't bother offering on the home, because all you're doing is adding to the competition and helping push prices up for that neighborhood and hurting the chances that you'll be able to afford there in the future. Obviously not the same advice for clients who were in the right ballpark. Well, now the tides have changed, and I would say a similar thing to sellers. If you're not listing your home at a price that it will sell at, you're only adding to the active listings in your neighborhood and helping buyers negotiate lower priced offers in your area. I know you want to get the most for your home, and I will always go above and beyond to make that happen, but I can't pull a buyer out of nowhere who's willing to pay far above market value for your property, and there's no agent out there with a secret trick to get buyers to pay above market value for your property, and nor should they. So be cautious of agents who tell you your home is worth more, because they're likely going to lock you into a contract and then let your home sit on the market until you're forced to reduce the price. If you're basing your next move off of what your home sells for, you should be using a very conservative value. Don't base your next purchase off of the high end of what your home could sell for, because there are no guarantees in this market. For the vast majority of sellers, I would also recommend that you sell your home before you buy your next one. You don't want to be put in a position where you feel forced to accept a lowball offer because you're on a tight timeline to get it sold, or even worse, you could be put in a position where you can't afford to close on the home you bought because you couldn't sell for the price that you thought you would get. And that can turn into an absolute legal nightmare with a hefty price tag. When you're pricing your property, you want to get it right the first time. The longer your home sits on the market, the more likely you will be forced to chase the market down. And if you're always reducing your price behind where the market is, you're risking selling for far less months down the road than you would have had you just priced it effectively the first time. You can use the link in the description to book a call with me at a time that works best for you to get your questions answered about our market or buying and selling a home here. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button and don't forget to like the video. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching until the end, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!